Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is a weapon most people never learn how to use. Today, you will discover the dark truth behind staying silent when others react, a principle Machiavelli understood centuries ago, and one that modern psychology confirms again and again. Because when you stay silent, people reveal themselves, their fears, their insecurities, their intentions. And in the space created by your silence, you gain something they don't: control. Most people react instantly. They explode. They defend. They argue. They expose the very emotions they should hide. But the one who stays silent, he becomes the mirror that the world fears, a mirror that forces others to look at themselves. This video will teach you how to use that silence, not as a passive act, but as a strategic move, a psychological force, a Machiavellian tool that shifts all power in your direction. So listen closely, and listen carefully, because once you understand these laws, you will never respond to conflict the same way again. Machiavelli once wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." He understood something deeper than the words alone. Those who talk the most reveal the most, and those who reveal the most are the easiest to influence. Modern dark psychology mirrors this truth. People who react quickly do so for one reason: their emotions rule them. Silence, therefore, becomes a test. Those who can endure the discomfort of silence are rare. Those who cannot expose their vulnerability. This is the foundation of every lesson you're about to learn. Lesson 1. Silence forces others to fill the void. Human beings hate silence. Feels like judgment, like exposure, like standing naked in front of someone who sees right through you. When you stay silent while someone reacts emotionally, they instinctively rush to fill the void. They talk more. They reveal more. They expose more. The more they speak, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the more powerful you become. This is interrogation psychology, interview psychology, leadership psychology, all wrapped into one. The person who speaks the least always holds the strongest position. Effective affirmation. Your silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. And pressure reveals truth. Lesson 2. Silence breaks the cycle of emotional control. People try to control you with reactions: anger, disappointment, guilt, shaming, passive-aggressive comments. They expect you to respond. They expect you to be pulled into their emotional world. But when you don't react, when you simply observe, when your presence stays calm and grounded, their psychological tactic collapses. Because manipulation depends on reaction. No reaction means no control. This is a key strategy in dealing with narcissists, emotional abusers, controlling partners, or insecure coworkers. You are removing the fuel for their emotional fire. And in doing so, you reclaim your power. Effective affirmation. When you stop reacting, their influence dissolves. Your silence becomes your shield. Lesson 3. Silence makes you unpredictable. Predictable people are easy to manipulate. When others know exactly how you will respond, they can push your buttons with precision. But silence makes you unreadable. People fear what they cannot predict. In Machiavellian strategy, fear is not terror. It is respect born from uncertainty. When you stay silent while others react, they begin to wonder, what are they thinking? What do they know? Did I say too much? Did I go too far? What will they do next? Your silence makes them cautious. Your unpredictability makes them careful. Your restraint makes them respect you, even if they don't fully understand why. Effective affirmation. Your silence is mystery, and mystery is influence. Lesson 4. Silence exposes insecure people instantly. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But insecure people cannot handle this. Silence forces them to confront their own fears, fears they have spent a lifetime avoiding. Watch what happens when you stay silent around an insecure person. They apologize too much. They explain themselves endlessly. They get defensive. They blame. They panic. They assume you're angry even when you're not. Why? Because their anxiety fills the silence, not your judgment. Your silence activates their internal chaos. This is one of the most revealing psychological tests you can use. Strong people remain calm. Weak people crumble inside. Effective affirmation. When you stay silent, the insecure expose themselves without a single word from you. Lesson 5. Silence makes people reveal their true motives. In negotiation, leadership, and conflict, the worst mistake you can make is speaking first. Machiavelli warned rulers about this repeatedly. When you speak too early, you reveal your position, your fears, your desires, your boundaries. But silence is a strategy. The one who waits, the one who listens, the one who observes, always discovers the truth. People reveal their real intentions when they think you don't have one. Stay silent long enough and you will learn who is lying, who is loyal, who is manipulating, who is hiding something, who is secretly jealous, who is intimidated, who is trying to control the situation. You don't force the truth out of people. You let the truth rise on its own. Effective affirmation. Your silence extracts truth more effectively than any confrontation ever could. Lesson 6. Silence puts you in a higher position of power. There is a reason great generals, CEOs, kings, and strategists use silence. The person who stays silent appears calmer. The calmer person appears stronger. The stronger person naturally rises in the hierarchy. Silence communicates, I am not threatened. I am not desperate. I do not need your approval. I control myself. I control the situation. People instinctively respect those who control themselves, because self-control is rare, and rarity is power. Robert Greene described it perfectly in the 48 Laws of Power. The self-controlled person becomes a magnet for admiration. Silence is self-control made visible, and visible self-control radiates authority. Effective affirmation. Your silence elevates you. Others feel it, even if they don't understand it. Lesson 7. Silence destroys manipulators' confidence. Manipulators rely on fast reactions. They count on you panicking, explaining yourself, defending yourself, giving them emotional fuel to twist, distort, and weaponize. But when you stay silent, their script collapses. Manipulators cannot operate without emotional data. Your silence denies them the information they need. Your fear, your guilt, your insecurity, your desire for approval, your emotional triggers. When you give them nothing, they lose their sense of control. Watch how a manipulator behaves when silence cuts off their supply. They repeat themselves. They exaggerate. They escalate. They become visibly frustrated. They expose the tactic they tried to hide. Silence forces them into the open. Manipulation depends on reactions. Therefore, the one who does not react wins. Effective affirmation. Your silence makes manipulators powerless. Their tricks dissolve in your calm. Lesson 8. Silence lets people judge themselves. Here is a dark truth most people never realize. People fear their own conscience more than anything you can say. When you stay silent during someone's emotional explosion, something powerful happens. They hear themselves. They watch themselves. They witness their own behavior in real time. And the moment they see themselves clearly, guilt appears, shame appears, reflection appears. Often this leads to regret, sometimes even respect. Why? Because you didn't attack them. You didn't defend yourself. You didn't get pulled into their chaos. You simply let them face the mirror they've avoided for years. This is why arguments feel unfinished for explosive people. They can feel the weight of their own words long after they've said them. You didn't have to punish them. Their conscience did. Effective affirmation. Your silence awakens judgment from within them, far harsher than anything you could speak. Lesson 9. Silence is the most underrated form of dominance. Dominance is not loud. Dominance is not aggressive. Dominance is presence. And nothing strengthens presence more than strategic silence. Think of a powerful king entering a room. a general before a battle, a CEO before announcing a decision. They speak less, they observe more, and when they finally talk, their words carry weight. People listen not because the words are special, but because silence made the words valuable. This is economic psychology applied to communication. Scarcity increases value. If you speak too much, your words become cheap. If you speak with restraint, everything you say becomes amplified. Silence is dominance because silence is control, not over others, but over yourself. And that is the highest form of power there is. Effective affirmation. Your silence is strength. Your words matter because you don't waste them. Lesson 10. Silence gives you time to think while others expose themselves. In moments of conflict or confrontation, silence creates a psychological time advantage. While the other person reacts impulsively, you analyze, you observe micro-expressions, you read the room, you gather emotional data, you review the situation from multiple angles. This is the strategy great negotiators use. This is the strategy elite interrogators use. This is the strategy long-term thinkers use. Most people speak first and think later. You will think first and speak last. That alone puts you in the top 1% of communicators. Machiavelli emphasized this repeatedly. Never was anything great achieved without danger. The danger he spoke of includes the danger of reacting too quickly. Silence removes that danger. Silence gives you space to plan while your opponents sabotage themselves with their own behavior. Effective affirmation. Your silence buys time. Your mind sharpens. Their weakness reveals itself. Lesson 11. Silence makes your presence heavier. There is a psychological phenomenon called weight of presence. It describes people whose energy feels larger, stronger, and more grounded than others. These individuals enter a room quietly, observe instead of react, listen instead of interrupt, speak without wasting breath. Their silence creates gravity. People lean in, people adjust their tone, people become more careful. People subconsciously elevate them in the social hierarchy. Why? Because silence signals internal stability. It signals that your emotions do not control you, that your environment does not shake you, that noise does not break you. In Jungian terms, this is the rise of the self, the integration of shadow, ego, and unconscious strength. Silent individuals often appear more powerful than loud ones, because silence radiates grounded confidence. Effective affirmation. Your silence gives you gravity. Others feel it without knowing why. Lesson 12. Silence is not about withdrawing. It's about watching. Many people misunderstand silence. They see it as avoidance, as retreat, as weakness. But the silence we are talking about is not passive. It is calculated, intentional, strategic, observant. Silence is not stepping back. It is stepping above. It places you in the position of the watcher. And the watcher always has more power than the one who is reacting blindly. This is the same principle behind Zen discipline, Stoicism, and ancient warrior psychology. The warrior who listens sees the incoming strike. The warrior who reacts blindly gets hit. Silence is your awareness sharpened into a blade. Effective affirmation. Your silence is not retreat. It is elevation. It is vision. Lesson 13. Silence makes you the one others seek approval from. Here is a dark social truth. The quieter you become, the more people try to earn your reactions. Humans crave acknowledgement. They crave validation. They crave emotional feedback. And when you do not give it freely, your approval becomes rare. Rare things become valuable. Valuable things are pursued. This is why silent individuals often attract attention without trying. People unconsciously lean toward them, seeking clues, nods, micro-responses, anything that reveals what the silent person thinks. This is not manipulation. It is simply the nature of social hierarchy. You become the one they want to impress. You become the one whose opinion matters. You become the one whose approval carries weight. All because you did not give your attention cheaply. Effective affirmation. Your silence increases your value. People chase what they cannot easily have. Lesson 14. Silence makes others question their own behavior. When someone reacts emotionally, they usually expect a counterreaction. They expect a fight. They expect a response. They expect validation of the tension they created. But when you stay completely silent, you create psychological dissonance, a sudden void. And in that void, their mind starts working against them. Did I go too far? Did I sound foolish? Did I just embarrass myself? Are they angry? Are they judging me? What are they thinking? This is especially effective in heated arguments or confrontations. Your silence becomes a psychological mirror that amplifies their self-awareness. People suddenly hear their tone, their words, their irrationality. They begin to question themselves. And in many cases, they soften. They calm down. They correct themselves. Some even apologize. Because silence silently forces self-reflection. Effective affirmation. Your silence triggers their self-awareness. They correct themselves without you saying a word. Lesson 15. Silence transfers emotional weight to the other person. Arguments are not really about words. They're about emotional energy. When someone gets loud or reactive, they're releasing emotional pressure outward. They're trying to give the pressure to you. If you react, you absorb that pressure. You take on their emotion. You mirror their state. But if you stay silent, you return the emotional weight to them instantly. They feel their own pressure more intensely. Their words echo back inside their head. Their emotional heat stays within their nervous system, not yours. This is why people tire themselves out when talking to someone who refuses to react. They burn all their emotional fuel while you preserve yours. In this dynamic, the silent one always wins. Not because silence is passive, but because silence is impenetrable. Effective affirmation. Your silence keeps their emotion with them. You remain untouchable. Lesson 16. Silence makes you more feared than anger ever could. Anger is predictable. Everyone has seen it. Everyone understands it. Everyone can measure it. But silence? Silence is ambiguous. And ambiguity is terrifying, because people cannot read your intentions. They can't measure how much you know. They can't predict what you'll do next. This creates a subtle, quiet fear, a fear rooted in uncertainty. This is what makes silence such a powerful weapon in leadership, negotiation, confrontation, and even relationships. People fear what they cannot see. People respect what they cannot fully understand. Silence is the mask that conceals your strategy. And the concealed strategy is always stronger than the one revealed. Effective affirmation. Your silence is the shadow that unsettles others. Your presence commands respect effortlessly. Lesson 17. Silence is the foundation of true emotional control. Emotional control is not about suppressing feelings. It's about owning your reaction, mastering your state, choosing your response intentionally, not impulsively. Silence is the training ground for this mastery. When you stay silent, you regulate your breathing, you calm your nervous system, you detach from the emotional chaos around you. You observe rather than absorb. You learn to respond from strength, not weakness. This is Stoicism, samurai discipline, and modern psychology woven together. The strongest warriors are not the ones who strike first, but the ones who remain centered under pressure. Silence is your internal dojo, your psychological training ground, your sharpening stone. Use it often, and you will become emotionally untouchable. Effective affirmation. Your silence is your mastery. You own your emotions rather than letting them own you. Lesson 18. Silence builds an aura of self-mastery. There is a reason silent individuals appear wiser, calmer, and more powerful. Silence radiates self-mastery. It shows that your mind is not easily shaken, that you do not crumble under pressure, that you are selective, controlled, intentional. This aura is rare, and rarity creates influence. Others begin to trust your judgment more. They consult you more. They listen more carefully. They follow your lead without realizing why. The quiet mind becomes the anchor in every storm. In a chaotic world, the silent one becomes the leader, not by force, but by gravity. Effective affirmation. Your silence builds an aura of mastery. Your presence becomes a guiding force. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the source of it. You now understand how silence exposes weakness, reveals truth, commands respect, and elevates your presence. But in the final section, we will tie these lessons together and show you exactly how to apply them in real life, in relationships, in conflicts, in arguments, in leadership, and within yourself. This final stage will transform silence from an idea into a weapon. Applying silence in real life, you now understand the dark psychology behind silence. But knowledge without application is wasted power. So let's translate these lessons into real-world strategy. Strategies you can use in conversations, confrontations, relationships, leadership, and moments of emotional tension. You will see exactly how silence shifts the power dynamic in your favor. Situation 1. When someone gets angry at you, most people match anger with anger. They raise their voice. They defend. They get emotional. But when you remain quiet, the angry person loses balance. Their emotional wave has nowhere to land. They start questioning themselves. Your silence acts as a psychological mirror, forcing them to see the intensity of their own behavior. Often they soften. Sometimes they apologize. Sometimes they embarrass themselves. You win not through domination but through discipline. Effective affirmation. Your silence removes their power. Their anger collapses under its own weight. Situation 2. When someone tries to manipulate you. Manipulators survive on quick emotional responses. They need your reactions to weave their narrative. Your silence takes that away. Stay quiet. Observe. Let them expose the tactic. Watch how their confidence cracks. Watch how their manipulation unravels in real time. Your silence is the trap they fall into, every single time. Effective affirmation. Your silence makes you immune to manipulation. Their game cannot begin without your reaction. Situation 3. When someone insults you. Insults are invitations. They lure you into emotional combat. They distract you from your position of strength. But silence denies the invitation. Your lack of reaction sends a message. You are beneath the level of response. This is how dignified leaders respond. This is how disciplined warriors respond. This is how self-controlled individuals protect their power. Because the moment you react emotionally to an insult, you give the insulter control. Silence keeps the control in your hands. Effective affirmation. Your silence turns their insult into their own humiliation. Situation 4. During negotiations or high-stakes decisions. This is where silence becomes a weapon of elite strategists. When you stay silent, people rush to fill the void. They reveal their real goals. They offer more than they intended. They negotiate against themselves. Salespeople, negotiators, CEOs, they all fear silence. Because silence forces honesty. Use this strategically. You will be amazed how quickly others begin to expose their true position. Effective affirmation. Your silence extracts truth and leverage. Others speak themselves into vulnerability. Situation 5. When someone wants a reaction from you. Some people push your buttons intentionally. They want to see you irritated. They want emotional proof that they affect you. But silence communicates something far more powerful. You have no influence over my state. This is psychological dominance in its purest form. When you refuse to react, the person trying to provoke you loses all satisfaction. They feel small. They feel powerless. They stop trying. Your silence wins the battle without fighting. Effective affirmation. Your silence neutralizes provocation. You rise above the level of petty conflict. Situation 6. In relationships and emotional dynamics. Silence is especially powerful in emotional relationships. Not the silent treatment, not punishment, not withdrawal, but calm, grounded silence during heated moments. Communicates. I refuse to fight from weakness. I refuse to let the storm pull me in. I choose clarity, not chaos. When you apply silence correctly, relationships become healthier. Arguments shrink. Communication improves. Respect increases. And emotional control becomes mutual. This is the silence of maturity, not avoidance. Effective affirmation. Your silence heals conflict rather than feeding it. You lead with calm strength. The final Machiavellian truth. Silence is uncomfortable because it reveals what people try to hide. Their fears, their insecurities, their motives, their intentions, their emotional instability. This is why most people fill silence with noise. But you will learn to master the discomfort, because the one who endures silence controls the dynamic. And as Machiavelli wrote, the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Wise men speak only when it is time. Fools speak because they cannot tolerate their own thoughts. Silence separates the two. The grand summary. 1. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. 2. Silence breaks emotional control. 3. Silence makes you unpredictable and respected. 4. Silence exposes the insecure instantly. 5. Silence reveals true motives. 6. Silence elevates your position of power. 7. Silence destroys manipulators' confidence. 8. Silence makes people judge themselves. 9. Silence is the purest form of dominance. 10. Silence gives you time to think while others expose themselves. 11. Silence increases the weight of your presence. 12. Silence is not retreat, it is strategic observation. 13. Silence makes others seek your approval. 14. Silence forces others to question their behavior. 15. Silence transfers emotional pressure back to the other person. 16. Silence is feared more than anger. 17. Silence is the foundation of emotional mastery. 18. Silence builds an aura of self-control and wisdom. These are your tools, your strategy, your new psychological armor. Use them wisely. If you've made it to the end of this video, you're not here by accident. Something inside you is evolving. You are learning the laws that most people never discover. You are becoming more disciplined, more grounded, more aware, more powerful. And now you hold a weapon that few people can wield. Strategic silence. Use it to reveal truth. Use it to protect your energy. Use it to elevate your presence. Use it to become emotionally untouchable. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to react to be respected. You don't need noise to make an impact. Your silence speaks more loudly than anger ever could. If this video shifted something in you, if it opened your eyes, if it made you think differently, then stay with us. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Leave a comment about the lesson that hit you the hardest. Because this channel is not for everyone. It's for those who seek transformation. For those who choose discipline over chaos. For those who want to control their mind instead of being controlled by it. You are becoming stronger. Stay on this path.